Really nice to join you here today. In the pre-talk before we went live in this session today, the folks at Digital Summit told me that this is the very last virtual event. Like, what? I feel like that's remarkable. So I'm especially honored to be here today with all of you to talk about storytelling. So let's talk about how we master marketing storytelling in a B2B context and how we really can tell true stories well. So a little bit about me. I am a partner and chief content officer at Marketing Profs. I am the Wall Street Journal bestselling author of 2 books. And one thing you may not know just by looking at me is that I am obsessed with my Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. I'm also a mom, and I publish a newsletter that I am also obsessed with. I believe that the best strategy is a story. And why do I think this? I think because the best stories take our B2B solutions and applications and businesses and put them into a more human-sized container. They make our applications and solutions a whole lot more relatable, and they infuse them with emotion. And I have been in marketing for, 25 years, and I will tell you that I have never met a rational B2B buyer. I think emotion matters a whole lot in B2B buying and B2B marketing. And so that's why I believe so deeply in telling a great story well to connect with the buyers that we care the most about. Now, stories can follow many different structures. They can follow many different templates and formats, but as it's at its basic structure, a story follows this format. There is a hero that we can relate to. Now, the hero is not you, your company. It's not your product or your service. Instead, it's the person you most help. Who is that person? And what is the transformation that you can lead them through? What do they desire most? What is the challenge that they need to go through to get to that resolution? And what is the struggle that they have to go through sometimes internally and in B2B buying to get to resolution? In this way, you are not the hero. You are the very vehicle or the way to the future, right? You help them become a better version of themselves in B2B.
And thanks to everyone at Digital Summit for having me. I get to speak at a lot of the in-person events, well, prior to 2020, obviously, and now thrilled to be joining you all for the At Home Summit. And I have a tremendous amount of content to get through, a whole bunch of side tangents that hopefully will be fun and informative, and a whole bunch of core material at the heart of marketing. So for those who might not know me, I started a company called Moz, which is in the SEO software space, and ran that for many years, left a few years ago, started a new company, SparkToro, with my co-founder Casey, and it is just the two of us. We're building some fun audience research software, but I've had some fascinating experiences trying to go back into the world of starting up a company, starting from absolutely nothing, and just 2 people, as opposed to a team of 200 and multiple countries and doing acquisitions and having VC and all that. And I think I've learned a lot in this time period. It's sort of helpful to get under there. And one of the things I learned is that it is a lot freaking harder right now to do digital marketing than when I did it the first time around. My first rodeo started in 2001. And back then, if you could build an audience, like you were golden, right? Internet adoption was growing so fast that even the big tech companies, Google, Facebook, Amazon, they didn't really need to deviate from the core of what they were doing, right? Amazon could sell other people's stuff. Facebook could just get people online and onto their service. Google could let you search and go off to the rest of the web, and they made tons of money doing just that. The era of tracking, of trackability, every search engine that sent you a visit told you what keyword someone searched for. You could figure out every referral that came through. Right before the age of dark social, you knew where all of your social traffic came from. So this made a lot of marketing investments really easy to justify. And in most sectors, there were very few players who were savvy enough to truly invest and compete at scale with a competent digital strategy. Even little guys, right? Even 2-person startups could get out there and win. The last 5 years, it has not been like that. right? Google nixed all the keyword data. You get tons of dark traffic now. Google starts competing with industry after industry. Everyone, everywhere, even the laggards, are learning to invest in digital marketing, especially in the last year. Social algorithms, right, have been biased to not send traffic out, but keep people on their sites, in their walled gardens and ecosystems. And, through all the kind of unfortunate externalities that come with late stage capitalism, you get lots of government lobbying and thousands of acquisitions, and sort of maybe the FTC not really thinking about whether Instagram and Facebook belong together, and and whether Google and YouTube belong together. And so 5 tech giants are now in control of 80% of all web traffic. And that's not so great for us.
With that, let's give a little context and history for this conversation. Over the past 30 years, for better or worse, the world has become more and more financial. So we've seen the rising power of the CFO in the C-suite. They've really gone from what people would say coin counters, to being more kingmakers. And McKinsey research says they're responsible for over 42% of board activities. And so what we're seeing is this financialization of everything. And it's not just a business trend. If you look on this slide, it's also a cultural trend. We're seeing Rolex watches, Renaissance paintings, baseball cards, and cars, and things like that now being traded on exchanges, just like stocks and bonds. So really seeing this rise in finance and needing to draw the connection to the financial perspective. And so because of that, you're going to hear me use a lot of financial language today. Don't be worried about it, though. It's all good. It'll be things like profit, market share, pricing power, the things that we do care about in marketing, and we need to maybe vocalize those words a little bit more. It might surprise you because we're talking about creativity, but I'm going to show you that there's a link between creativity and those terms I just shared with you. So here at the B2B Institute, we believe that marketers must become more financial to be successful. We need to link the marketing inputs to the financial outputs so that we can have a more seat at the table within the C-suite, right? So if we want to be taken seriously and continue to grow and share and connect with our communities and get more resources and budget, we have to start speaking the language of business, which happens to be. So let's talk about this a little bit more, because the part of the challenge and why we need to draw this connection and make the case for creativity is because brand marketing and marketing that really invests in creativity has been losing ground. So marketing in B2B specifically, in many cases, isn't taken as seriously by product engineering, by sales, because it isn't seen as the money end of the business. And of course, when you're doing anything creative, it's going to be scrutinized because to people who don't understand branding and marketing and the things that we talk about, it seems like arts and crafts to them. And then when we put out creative that doesn't really hit, it weakens our case. So we now need to have the data, the examples necessary to convince finance and sales to make a bigger investment in these things. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. We've done some really great research with a firm called System One on this case. How do you get to 5-star creative? What are the characteristics you need to invest in, as well as how do you make